Hey guys, just finished watching Jessica Jones Season 2, Episode 13, aka Playland. Wow, what an episode. This episode was really interesting. I mean, first we start off with Jessica, who wakes up in the RV with her mother, and then Trish wakes up again from the hospital, and this time she stays awake. She's getting all better. And then we get Malcolm ends up cleaning himself up and goes to see Linda Chow, gets some information from her for Jerry Hogarth, ends up taking Jerry Hogarth's case from Jessica. Jessica probably wasn't even working on that case really throughout here. She's just pretending to work on it really. And Jessica and her mother save a family from an explosion from a car crash that's explosive and stuff with all kinds of canisters and stuff, which was a really cool scene. Fun seeing that. And then the mother won't. Then the mother goes to for the truck, and it explodes, and she ends up being alive. Though that was really cool. That moment when everything thought it looked like she was going to be dead there, and that was kind of like the tension to the episodes. Like, oh my God, is she going to die here? It'd be an easy way for her to get off the hook, type thing. But no, she survived that one. And then we get Malcolm taking Hogarth's case from Jessica. Trish they end up driving around, and then they end up at Playland, and which is interesting with that because Trish just shows up there, and it's like it was never. Maybe I'm misjudging how far things were and stuff. It never really understood, I guess, how far Jessica's actual childhood house that Kilgrave had in season 1, how far was that from Alias Investigations, her place in downtown New York City? How far outside the place was that? How far, was then from there? How far was this Playland from the hospital where Trish was? Because she got there pretty fast, but she's there and she ends up shooting and killing Jessica's mother, and the cops think that Jessica killed her mother. And then that's it. That's where the thing that pretty much ends. We get a few more things there, and then that's where things end. And I think that was really cool, the idea of Trish kind of taking that on and doing stuff, and how that relationship's going to play on as things continue on from here. It is interesting to see that. I mean, I like especially the end later on. We get Trish catching her phone with her foot type thing. Very like Hellcat, I guess, idea, which, like I said, I still haven't gotten around to kind of looking up Hellcat, and definitely want to check that out now that we have these teasers and these setups for her becoming Hellcat. I really can't wait to get into that and dive into some Hellcat reading, because I don't know anything really at all about her character other than Patsy Walker is her name. Her name is Trish Walker type thing. So I really can't wait to see how that's going to form out, how we go into more of the whole Hellcat storyline. I think it's really going to be fun to see that. And then we get Malcolm. We find out that Malcolm is working for Price, and Jessica goes to have dinner with Oscar and Vito. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays off with the whole Oscar and Vito thing. I don't know how I feel about it. I like it, but at the same time, I know that she's destined to be with Luke Cage, so I'm just kind of like anxious about it. It's like, I don't mind it for while it's around type thing, but at the end of the day, whenever this, if this ever gets cut short, if the so-called Disney streaming service ends up canceling this Jessica Jones, Defenders, Luke Cage, and all that stuff, then I'll be disappointed that we didn't get the Jessica Jones and Luke Cage relationship that we wanted from the comic books, that's there from the comics. So that's the one that I'm kind of disappointed on. I would love to see that more relationship, and to building up to that relationship to eventually where they have a kid together and they have to fight crime, even knowing that they have a kid together. And I think that would be a cool point to play on. But I think we're not going to do that for a little bit, and I'll see that happening for definitely a few more episodes. I mean, for a few more seasons. I mean, it's definitely going to be fun to see what things play with that. But I like the whole idea about going with this, kind of playing with kind of Jessica and Oscar and seeing where things go. And I can't wait to see also what things with Patsy and Trish, and how things are going to go with Trish, and how she kind of gets the costume. Does she go see Nelvin Potter from Daredevil? I could see definitely. I was hoping that we'd see it in this thing, maybe having someone from Danny Rand, maybe. I can't think of her name, but the jiu-jitsu teacher from Danny Rand. Can't think of her name, but it would be cool to see her. If she went and got some training from her, that would be quite fun to see that. It could be quite interesting to see and how we could play in getting Trish closer to becoming her own superhero. And I think it's an interesting idea to play with that. And I think this could be a cool idea to see how we're going to get this more this Hellcat version of Trish Walker. So all in all, it was an interesting episode, seeing Jessica and her mother kind of bonding throughout this whole episode and talking and all that. And then kind of her mother at the end kind of realizing that this is going to be the end, and this is going to be fun to see how that goes. And I really hope we get a season 3, because although there's no cliffhanger, it is something I really need to have it resolved before Disney ends up shutting this down, because they want to move everything to their streaming service. And I really would hope that if they do that, they would just bring this over to there, so that, Kristen Ritter stays as Jessica Jones and all these stories can just get picked up but over there. If I'm not mistaken, they have said that they don't want to do anything rated R type thing. They want to keep these more gritty stuff here on Netflix. So hopefully we do get a Jessica Jones season 3 to finish out that Patsy Walker storyline. I think that could be cool to see that, and we'll have to wait and see where things go with all that. So all in all, I think it could be a cool idea. Also, I wouldn't mind a Trish, a Hellcat TV show. That wouldn't be a bad idea, for her playing around with that, and kind of having Jessica Jones cameoing on there, especially for the first season, with it being, since they're kind of separated after Jessica sees her as killing her mother. And I think that would be an interesting idea to see how that would come back and how they would get their own relationship back on track together, because at the end of the day, they need to get their relationship back on together. I think they're such a great characters working together, and I love their bond as sisters and stuff. It's really fun dynamic to play with. But at the same time, to just pick up with season 3, unless they say season 3 is 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, then it's like we need to see how they get their relationship back together. You can't just pick up with them together. We need to see how they got that back, because it's a big thing to see Jessica lose her mother twice, a second time, and it being done by her sister type thing, her adopted sister. So I think that's really going to be cool to see where that relationship goes and how we play with that. I need to get that in a season 3 rather than just kind of saying that it happened, and just picking up as if it is. I'd like to see things go on, and maybe in a season 3 see them having to work together, because they're both, Jessica has a case she's sucked into, and Patsy just being Hellcat, having to work together but not liking it, and their friction between each other. I think that could be a cool idea. Just seeing that for a season 3 could be quite fun to see the two playing with that. And I hope hopefully that if we get that, we could get maybe a Daredevil season 1 style version of a costume for the first season, and then kind of get to the Hellcat costume. Although I don't see Trish Walker with her resources, her money and stuff like that, costume designers and all, she wouldn't be difficult for her to find out, to get a hold of, Nelvin Potter or anything like that, and getting a full-on costume that would just work type thing. And it could be cool to see that. But I think they really have to be careful with the way they play this to make her not too much like a Marvel's version of Catwoman. So they're definitely not going to have to, watch the Halle Berry Catwoman movie as what not to do when it comes to a character like that. So it's really going to be fun to see where things go for season 3. Hopefully they can get this and can get confirmed for season 3 pretty soon, because I think this is really going to be fun to see that, and I need to see that relationship. Could be quite fun to see them both working on a case at the same time and kind of eventually coming together, having to work together to save people, and then kind of but not liking it because they're not, Jessica's still not wanting to play a ball with Trish and stuff. And I think that could be a cool idea. And to see at this point, if Trish did get a costume and did become Hellcat, would she tell Jessica? Would she just go out and do it, or would she tell Jessica that's her and type thing? And how would that play out? That could be quite fun to see that. And also seeing Malcolm with Price Chang, that could be an interesting idea. And if Hogarth ends up appearing in a different show, whether it's Luke Cage season 2 with Danny Rand, since she did say that she was keeping the Rand company at the Rand as their on her, she wanted to keep him as a client, and I think that would make sense. I mean, even if Rand was with the other guys, Danny would just be like, yeah, no, I'm leaving, I'm going with her, Hogarth, because since she was the one person that who was helped him in the beginning of his first season when he needed help. No one else believed him and gave him the time of day, and she did. So I think that's going to be cool to see that, and see if we get to see Price and Malcolm in any of those shows type there, maybe in Luke Cage's show or Danny Rand's show in Iron Fist season 2. It could be quite interesting to see that, or maybe just even in Daredevil, who knows. But I could definitely see it maybe in either Luke Cage or Iron Fist, more likely Iron Fist. Maybe just a cameo in Luke Cage because of Danny Rand and stuff, but we'll have to wait and see where things go with that. So all in all, I think it was an interesting season. I'm really kind of putting it to more. I kind of put this more as like a I kind of like prefer season 1 a little bit more than this one, just because it seemed a lot more personal with Kilgrave and how he was inside her head type thing, and he was really more sadistic and menacing, whereas having her mother, although that's a great twist and it was a cool thing to see, it just, once the twist was gone, there was no more reveals or anything like that, and it just kind of plateaued from there, and there was every now and then you got a cool action scene and stuff. It just really didn't really have the speed and the shock value that the season 1 had for Jessica Jones. So for season 3, I'd like to see a little bit more or closer towards something like Kilgrave, and I still find Kilgrave is probably one of the, by far, the up there with Wilson Fisk as terms of villain, and I think that's really going to be fun to play with that and see, if Kilgrave can pop back up another season, every time Jessica gets pushed to the edge again. I think it could be interesting to see that, and I'm surprised that we didn't get to see Jessica, with Kilgrave popping up inside of her head after she saw her sister kind of killing people, her sister killing her mother. That could be an interesting idea, and also seeing, not just Kilgrave, seeing both her mother and Kilgrave in her head for next season. I think that could be an interesting idea to play with as things go on. Like I said, having Trish and Jessica and Trish going head to head, trying to fight the same villain at the end of in a season 3, while not wanting to have anything to do with each other, could be an interesting idea. Or at least with Jessica not wanting to help at all, anything to do with Trish, but Trish, not wanting, just wanting to help and type thing, and just needing that time to build that up. I think it could be an interesting idea to play with the season 3. So all in all, I'm really excited for this. It was an okay season, not as good as season 1, but still a good season, and definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't watched it. But at this point, you're watching a spoiler review, so whatever. It was an interesting thing. Definitely can't wait to see for season 3. So fingers crossed we get a season 3 so we can continue this storyline and see Trish as Hellcat. So let me know what you think, guys, about this season in the comments below. Season 2, episode 13. What do you think about the whole season as whole? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
To talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have. Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.